Good evening. Correct. My name is Paul Monty, a member of the club. What I do for a living, I am paid so that I can help the transport industry in operations. So I'm in operations management. What I'd be in another life, I would be a person who works in the synagogue in Israel. Thank you.
Awesome. That's really amazing. Thank you so much, Paul. And then we will have Sylvia Kwamboka. Sylvia is with us.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sylvia Kwamboka. I am a clinical nutritionist by profession, and I also do poultry farming. In another life, I think I don't know what. I know it will sound weird, but in another life, I'd be a dolphin. Don't ask questions. I'll explain later.
All right. Thank you so much, Sylvia. We appreciate the honesty, and we look forward to engaging further to know what that would look like. And then I'll move on to visiting Rotaractors. I see we have Rotaractor Hamalinda from the Rotaract Club of Young Professionals in Tanzania. The floor is yours, Hamalinda. Hamalinda, can you hear us?
Yes, hi.
Awesome.
This is Amalinda Joseph from the Rotary Club of Young Dar es Salaam. I'm an accountant by profession. In another life, you know, Supercar Blondie. She just drive cars, but I guess for food and hotels. But I do for Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hamalinda. We hope that one day you'll be like her. And then I'll move on to our guests. Oh, I see we also have Anaculate. Yes, Anaculate, please introduce yourself.
Hi, Spare. Hey, everyone. Hello, Spare. I'm audible.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so my name is Katambani, as Spare has introduced me. Professionally, I do finance and accounting. In another life, I like to be politician. If in another life, that's what it is. Good life, that is.
Thank you so much, Katambani. We appreciate your presence with us. And we wish you would have seen you in that other life. Maybe you would have represented us better in our government. And then I'll move on to Catherine. Catherine?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Catherine Moshiri. In this life, in the current life, I'm a quantity surveyor. In my next life, I would like to come back, maybe as a lead singer in a band. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Catherine. We would also love to hear your voice in the band that you would be leading. And then we have Esther Ngendo. Esther, the floor is yours.
I'm Esther. In this life, professionally, I'm an accountant. In the next life, I'll be a fisherman.
Oh, at least we see you will be hunting Sylvia, who did the dolphin. Sylvia, there's a fisherman in the house already. Thank you so much, Esther. We are happy to have you in our meeting today. And then I see we have Eve. Eve, please introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eve. My name is Evelyn, or you can call me Eve Merier. I'm a banker. And if I have another life, what would I be doing? I'll be a freelancer, freelance photographer, stroke traveler. Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eve. We are happy to have you with us today. And
Thank you.
then we have Joy-Ann Mbuthia. Joy-Ann. Joy-Ann Mbuthia, can you hear us? If you're not in a position to talk, you can share your answers to the prompt on the chat box. Then I'll move on to Margaret Mushori. Margaret? Margaret, can you hear us? Okay. And then I'll move on to Phyllis Amusala. Phyllis?
Hi everyone, good evening.
Good evening to you.
My name is Phyllis Amusala from the Rotaract Club of Langata. My current profession is I am an environmentalist and an entrepreneur. I sell kienyeji chicken, and another life, I'd say I'd still pursue the profession I'm doing at the moment, but I'd visit different countries and I'd be an elephant, maybe. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We're happy to have you. And then I see we have Rita. Rita, please introduce yourself. You can also type on the chat box. Okay. I also see we've been joined by other members and guests while we're going on with the introductions. We won't go back to that session, but we'll ask you to just, you can type in the chat box your name, where you're joining us from, and what your profession is. At this point, I'd like us to move on to the next section. And I see someone else typed on the chat box. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next section. So today's meeting is a training on negotiation skills, and we're happy to have with us an expert within that field. And I'll request Helen Moura to do the honor of introducing our guest speaker for today, and she will be able to take us through this topic and the training on negotiation skills. Helen, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Helen Moura. I am an underwriter, and I'm very honored to introduce our guest today and look forward to learning from what she has in store for us. So our guest today is Nora. She's a seasoned HR professional. She's also registered as an associate member with IHRM, that is the Institute of Human Resource Management. She has over 10-year experience in HR and administration. Currently, she's an assistant HR manager at Oshwal Education and Relief Board. Nora is also the founder and HR consultant at Prime HR Consult Kenya. Prime HR Consult specializes in providing outsourced HR services for small business owners, CV writing services, counseling, and interview coaching. When Nora is not in the office or at home, she will be at the movies with her friends, on a road trip, or upcountry harvesting maize. Let's all welcome Nora.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Helen, for the wonderful introduction. I'm actually very glad to have such wonderful people join me for this negotiation skills training. And first and foremost, I would want to ask James to let me know if I can share the presentation from your end, or should I share my screen?
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Okay. Let's see. James, I think I've forgotten. Where were we sharing the screen from?
So on the bottom of your Zoom screen, there is a green button that is written share screen.
Oh, yes. Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Okay, so as you can see from my screen, we are going to discuss briefly about negotiation skills. And you can all agree with me that we actually negotiate, we use these skills each and every day. So I just want to enlarge.
You can click on view.
View, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you select full screen mode.
Oh, full screen, yes, there. Thank you so much. Okay, so our main goal today is to discuss how we can not just get a deal, but how to get a good deal. From the moment you wake up, you negotiate with yourself. You have to negotiate with probably the matatu conductor. You have to negotiate with clients, with customers. You have to negotiate with the Mama Kibanda on whether she's going to get you that extra vegetable. At the end of the day, you have to go back to the stage. Probably it has rained, and you have to negotiate with the conductor again on whether they'll they'll agree to to let you into the vehicle with the amount of money that you have. So generally, we can just say that negotiation is part of our lives. So today we are going to discuss how to get that good deal. We not only want to negotiate, but we want to leave that room or that situation with a good deal, win-win situation. So if we are to look at what negotiation is, we can say that negotiation is the process of conferring to arrive at an agreement between different parties, each with their own interest and preferences. And then we can also say that it is also a give and take decision-making process involving interdependent parties with different preferences, sorry. So, but if I were to be asked about the best definition, is the one that was given by Minton in 2001. And he said that the degree to which the interest of the parties are aligned can facilitate the range and type of outcomes available for resolution. So definitely it is, from what we've gathered so far, you cannot negotiate with yourself, like I had said before, but it has to be, for it to be a process, for it to be an exchange, there has to be another party, one or more. So today we are only going to focus on a few things, on a few principles, the 4 principles of best practice negotiation. So first of all, before you even think of going to the negotiation table, you have to prepare, because first of all, you have to understand why you're going to the negotiation table. Are you prepared Do you understand the issues, the people? Are you equipped to face the team? Do you understand the process? And another thing you have to be able to prepare for is definitely the outcome. Sometimes, as you're going to later on see, is that we can have a win-win and we can have a win-lose. So are you prepared to take on the outcome? Then again, another feature is the relationship. So you have to develop a strategy for maintaining the relationship before, during, and after the negotiations. Because like I said, it is sometimes you'll have the win-win. In that way, all the parties involved are happy. And definitely that relationship will be maintained. During the negotiation, definitely that relationship, you have to understand the mechanisms, the strategy of how that relationship will not crumble during the negotiations. But I believe as a HR professional, most of the times the relationship becomes a bit strained is after. The after part is the most difficult, because if at all you went to the negotiation table and you lost, I am very sure that will not be a pretty picture. Sometimes we feel like we didn't prepare enough. So that is why you have to understand this principle of a negotiation, maintaining the relationship before, during, and after. Another principle is communication. By this, I mean that you have to have the ability to build trust by applying an open communication style. What do I mean by the open communication style? I mean, do not be closed off to proposals, ideas, suggestions, and even rejections. So you have to be open enough to understand this communication style. Be ready with your questions, with your answers, with your counter proposals, and things like that. If at all you're communicating by email, you have to understand that your communication style has to be in a manner that does not bring off the wrong tone, or probably might be misunderstood. If at all, let's say you're negotiating with someone who does not understand your language, definitely you have to factor in the translation process, or probably engage someone else who understands the communication style of that other party. The last feature is the problem solving. Here, after preparing, understanding the communication style, and remembering to maintain the strategy of the relationship, you have to explore options and strategies for reaching an agreement. So which are these options? And this is where your problem solving skills come in. For example, you want to negotiate for your team to go for maybe a retreat somewhere. So by your team going maybe to a team building excursion or a session, which problem is this option solving? Maybe your team is tired, maybe they've been working hard throughout the first quarter, and you really need them to relax so that they can be more productive. So you can give that as an option and a strategy, so that the other side of the table sees this as a strategy and as you willing to reach an agreement. So let's all remember the 4 principles so that we can have an effective negotiation process. So I hope I'm not moving too fast. If I'm moving too fast, kindly let me know. So again, we have features of negotiation. We need to have the 2 parties, the predetermined goals, expecting an outcome, parties willing to modify their positions, and parties should understand the purpose of their negotiation. So without this, definitely, let's just say if we do not have an outcome, then that will not qualify to be called a negotiation. Again, if we only have one party, then that cannot even be viable in a court of law. Let's say if at all we got to that. Then if at all maybe any party is not willing to modify their position, they're not willing to make a compromise, maybe to reach an agreement, then that definitely would not qualify. Last but not least, what is your purpose? Do you understand the purpose of that negotiation? The objective, where do you want to land? So those are the features of negotiation. And maybe definitely something that I left out here is definitely the mode of communication. That is also something to be considered as a feature of negotiation. So why do we negotiate? So one is to reach an agreement. We want to make a point. We want to settle an argument. We want to compromise. And we also want to beat the opposition. So if at all, probably we have more reasons for negotiating, but these are the main ones. Because if you look at wanting to reach an agreement, definitely is something that we've all done, because we do not want to keep on having different opinions, different ideas. We want to settle that, and that is why we go to that table. We want to make a point. We might be in a different situation. This other party might not understand, but that is where the negotiation comes in, for us to make a point that we are right on this end. To settle an argument, you've been placed in a team, and the team leader does not understand why you have chosen to do things the way you have. So there's an argument with the team leader, or maybe your employer, your boss, your direct report. So they need to see your side of the things. They need to understand why things are happening the way they are. So if an argument ensues, then you have to go to the negotiating table and settle that argument. Bring your points to the table. He brings his, and then you settle it by using the features that we talked about previously. To compromise, of course. Let's say, I'll give you an example. Sometimes we go on holidays. So some of our staff want to change their reporting hours. So as management, we have to always look for ways to ensure that staff are content. So if at all, maybe on Saturdays, the admin staff want to come in at 9, but then again, we have parents who would want to be served at an earlier hour. We just arrive at a compromise. We say, okay, fine, admin staff, you want to come at 9, but then again, why should we let the parents come at 9, and yet they have other engagements? So what we do is that we reach a compromise and say, okay, fine, you've been coming at 8, why don't you come at 8:30, and then extend maybe up to 1 p.m. So both parties are there to compromise, and we reach a compromise. And of course, beat the opposition. We negotiate because we always feel that we are right. So most of the times that is arrived at that negotiating table. Then these are the two types of negotiation. First of all, we have on the left side, I don't know whether it's your right or left, we have the distributive negotiation. If you can have a look at those two pictures, I mean, the two guys down there, there's one who is very happy. There's another one who definitely is not. The one who is who seems to be smiling definitely got a win. but the one who seems to have lost has that cringy face. So that is the distributive negotiation, where it is a win-lose. But then we have the integrative negotiation. You can see those two gentlemen shaking hands, because why it is integrative is because it is a win-win. They have both gotten what they wanted. And that is why we see that they have reached, and they have probably settled an argument, they have reached a compromise, they have both made their points. So that is why the integrative negotiation is what we always advocate for, so that both parties can go home feeling content. I know some of us have been through the distributive, especially if maybe in your profession you have unions. Unions are known to use the distributive negotiation skills, because here the employer is definitely on the losing side. Definitely the staff that the union represents are always on the winning side. But if you can agree with me, for those who are probably offering services, it is always an integrative negotiation platform, because both the client and the person offering those services, they reach a compromise because they both want to benefit from that engagement. So they always go for the integrative negotiation. So if we were to look much deeper into the distributive negotiation, definitely, like I was saying, it operates under a zero-sum game. Then we obviously have the gain made by one person. The loss is incurred by the other. Each person involved in the negotiation defines ultimate points where the settlement will be made. Then the seller's goal is to negotiate as high a price as possible. The buyer's intention is to negotiate as low a price as possible. So that is where the win-lose situation comes in. So definitely one party goes home probably feeling cheated, feeling shortchanged, and therefore, if at all we advocate for this kind of negotiation platform, we will always be on either side. We can either be the winning side or the losing side. If we look at the integrative negotiation platform, both parties cooperate and they are looking to maximize the benefits by integrating their interests. And second point would say that both have mastered the negotiation process and they want to jointly look at the problem. They want to search for alternatives, evaluate, and definitely reach a point where they can now mutually accept a decision or a solution. And that is why the integrative negotiation platform is for a win-win situation. So that is both, those are the two negotiation, sorry, those are the two that we have. And if you were to master the win-win situation, you'll definitely have to understand the why, not the what. The why. Why are you in that position whereby you want to go ahead, probably to your employer, to your client, negotiate for better terms? You have to understand the why, not the what. So those that is just in summary. If you look at the characteristic, what is the motivation behind it? The interests, the relationship, issues involved, ability to make trade-offs, and lastly, the solution. So like we said, distributing definitely is a win-lose, integrative is a win-win. If the motivation behind distributive is only the individual gain, but when you're looking at the integrative, that is joint and both individual. The interests, if you're using the distributive method, it is opposed. your interests will not be considered. But if you're in the integrative side, you look at the different but not always opposite. The different sides are both appreciated. The relationship, definitely distributive short-term, integrative longer or short-term. Issues involved with distributive, it could be just a single issue. But when you're looking at the integrative, these are multiple issues that are involved. Let's say it's in a project and you want to achieve several objectives. So the best way to go is the integrative. Ability to make trade-offs. Here at distributive, it is not flexible at all. But if you look at the integrative, trade-offs are flexible. You give me this, I give you that. Let's have this, let's have that also. But then lastly, when you look at the solution, it is not very creative. In fact, it is not creative at all in the distributive method. But if you look at the integrative, definitely there's creativity. If we go ahead and just say the 4 steps of achieving a successful negotiation. So you have to assess the benefits, the influence in the situation, and then ask yourself the price you're willing to pay to avoid negotiating. If, for example, you want to stay without a pay raise, maybe you might not be able, the price you're willing to pay is not being able to wear some nice clothes, go visit some nice restaurants, maybe have some extra money in your pocket you can use to maybe treat yourself over the weekend. Then who has influence in this situation? And then what are you gaining? What is the benefit of you? Does it outweigh the cost? So that is assess. Then we have prepare. These are the questions you're supposed to ask yourself. So what is your interest in this negotiation? What are the interests of your counterpart? The other person on the side of the table, what do they seek to gain? Then of course you have to, the other one is ask. You have to engage with your counterpart. Remember, in this process, there is no way it will be beneficial, or we will have a flexible outcome, a relatable one, if you do not engage with your counterpart. And then ask yourself, do you have a unique information that your counterpart may need? The conversations with your counterparts, will they give you an opportunity to share this information? Remember, we were talking about the distributive. This kind of method or approach does not, the other counterpart might not give as much information as possible and may bombard you at the table with all this information that they did not share. So you have to ask yourself whether you will be willing to share information with your counterpart, and are they willing to share that information with you as well as their perspective. So those are the questions that you need to really ask yourself before you get into that process, such that you are equipped, make an informed decision before you even start the process. Then remember that proposals that are packaged together provide better solutions. If you only come with one issue, then instead of multiple, you might have again to organize another meeting. Then that will eat more into your probably time that you could be using to be a bit more productive on some other end. So remember to package your issues together. If, for example, you are negotiating better terms for your contract, let's say for your employment contract, don't only look at the salary. Remember, money is not everything. Remember, you have to be in that office day in, day out. Remember, there are those colleagues you'll have to face every day. Remember, there's equipment that you will need to be productive. Remember motivation, recognition, rewards, benefits. So package those issues together such that when you're approaching your counterpart, you not only want to discuss something that probably will not benefit you in the long run. Remember, we are in employment not only for the money, but we want to develop ourselves, we want to develop our careers, we want to build networks, connections. So let's not limit ourselves to single issues, but just package your issues together. Then do not negotiate, yeah, that we've mentioned. If then statements as a tool to prevent your ask. So you want to say, if you give me this, then I will do this. So that those are the two terms that your statements need to highlight. If my package is approved, then this is what the result will be. So always remember to package your issues. So those are the 3 questions that you need to prepare before entering into a negotiation. So why are you asking? Not the what, why? So the reason is more important than the what. So how are you asking? Are you going to ask face by face? Are you going to ask by letter? Are you going to ask by email? Are you going to ask for an interactive discussion? So how are you going to ask? Remember, how you ask is very important, because remember, the tone of your communication style will always might come off as someone who is willing to engage in a discussion, or someone who is just, pushing issues down the throat of your counterpart. So how are you asking? For whom are you asking? As a HR professional, most of the time we represent staff. So they send us on their behalf to negotiate with our employer for them. They'll send us to negotiate with training facilitators and things like that. So you have to remember, if at all you're representing someone, always remember to have all the facts right, all the information, engage them as much as you can, so that you're both on the same plate, so that you can each have the outcome that you desire. So once you have asked yourself those questions, so what are your roles and responsibilities as a negotiator? Remember, you can be on that table or in that process alone, or you could be a team, or it could just be the two of you. So it is a dialogue. So one party shouldn't be the dominating part. It should be a dialogue. So in this case, to only solve a dispute and to reach an agreement. Then your other role is to, it is only the primary method of alternative. Remember that it is the only primary method of alternative dispute resolution. So we do not want to go fighting, maybe sulking because you are not given a platform. This is a very good platform, and this is your responsibility to initiate that method. Again, can also be done to satisfy individual interests. So daily affairs, business, legal proceedings, government affairs, and other such activities. So having said all that, I think we have that picture, and it's only that your mics are muted, but I would have wanted to ask one of you what kind of approach that is from the two that we have discussed. What do you think, James?
Nora, they can unmute. We can unmute.
Oh yeah, sure. All right. Maybe one person can tell me what kind of approach this is. Anyone?
Guys, there were two types.
Yes.
We had the distributive negotiation and integrative negotiation. Nimewapea hint wenye walikuwa wamesahau.
Yeah, so Nigani, what do you think? Rita?
Hi, Nora.
Hi.
Thank you. It is distributive.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. It is distributive because if you look at the conditions there, you can see. Let's just give an example. So this is an employee and an employer. So the employer is the lady. The lady has already brought forces. Those forces are not looking kind. The employee does not have a representative himself. We can also look at the face on the employee. He's actually shocked because it seems that he's being forced to sign a document. We can also see another feature there, that is the what do you call that? The one that measures time. I don't know.
The hour.
Yes, the hourglass. So it is timed, it is forceful, it is not flexible, and definitely this is a win-lose situation. So we do not want to be the kind of people who are not open to discussion. Again, let's remember that in any case you're proceeding for a negotiation, always remember to have it documented. We are having a lot of issues, especially at the court, because you find someone says, I was dismissed unfairly, but again, we do not have that kind of documentation. Always remember to protect yourself in such instances. Have a representative. If at all it is a union representative or maybe your direct report, it could also be someone you trust, because in the presence of another person, that meeting is viable. So do not limit yourself. Remember to always keep the options open. Don't be afraid. And I'm very sure that you will keep negotiating. So I don't know whether you have questions. That is the end of my presentation.
Thank you so much, Nora. And yes, at this point, I welcome questions from our attendees. Yeah, feel free to ask. You can unmute. You can also type in the chat box. Yeah, we are on time for questions. Yes. Maybe as they prepare, I can go fast. I wanted to know how, before, once you have assessed a situation and you've seen that negotiation will be the best option, however, you realize that the other party is not very willing to come into a negotiation. So how do you influence them to get into a negotiation? Yeah.
Well, in that case, the best way is to engage another party that they can listen to, because if at all maybe they're reluctant, you can engage another party to persuade them. And if at all, and remember to document these engagements, this kind of communication, because again, if at all they don't listen to the third party, this is now where you approach a mediation team. And by a mediation team, if maybe we are talking about the employment context, you can always approach the union, the labor officer, or you can approach a lawyer. So those are the those are the kind of avenues you can use to entice them or persuade them to now start negotiations.
Thank you so much, Nora. That answers my question. All right. Anyone else with a question? Yes, Rita, I've seen you raised your hand.
Hi, Nora. So I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, there's this situation whereby most people find themselves in. You're a young professional, or maybe even an experienced professional. You don't have a job currently, and then the employer you're getting is offering a way much lower than you expect remuneration. So what would you advise someone like that? Because most of the time it's either you take it or leave it. So would you advise that person to take the job and swallow the hard pill, or just, just leave the job and stay jobless?
Oh yeah, Rita, I remember I was in such a position when I was starting out in my HR career. And most of the time, employers look at various things before they give you a package. First of all is experience. So if you have experience, definitely that is one of those selling points. If you have experience, you have the qualification, be it maybe academic or professional, that is one negotiating point you can use, that you have experience. Another thing you can use to quote your expected is always do a market benchmark. How I do that is, how I would encourage you to do that is by go to LinkedIn. We have definitely employees working in those positions and in that company. Befriend one of them and say, okay, by the way, I've applied for 1, 2, 3. So please quote for me. Don't tell them to tell you how much they get, that position gets. Tell them to quote for you. Once they quote for you, now you'll have something in mind to guide you into into negotiating your pay. Another thing you can use is talk to, what do they call it? You can go to Glassdoor. There's also Glassdoor. Glassdoor is, what they do is that they post different salary reviews for different companies. So you'll find, like, let's say in the industry that I work, so different employees have gone to Glassdoor and they've said this company, but of course anonymously. If you're afraid of maybe being traced back to you, just answer anonymously. You'll find that many employees have listed the different salaries the different positions get. Last but not least, always know your worth. Because sometimes, especially with COVID having changed a lot of things, you might feel, ask yourself, will I be able to sustain myself? If I take this, how much time will it take me to rise to the kind of amount that I want? Maybe probation for them is 6 months, because you see, the law it says that you cannot, the employer has the right to put you on probation for 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, but not more than 9 months. So know your worth. How much time will it get you to get that salary that you want? What is their career growth plan? What is their training programs like? So, and then maybe if maybe kama kashida kameuma sana, you cannot do without that money, have a way out plan. If probably you badly need that job, you only need maybe to survive for the next 6 months, have a savings plan such that you're able to know, if at all They're not going to give me a career growth plan. I'll be getting 20,000 instead of getting 40,000. Then you need to have a way out. I know that last part is not very, HR people will never tell you that, but I will tell you because I've been there, and that is what I did. I just made sure that I'm comfortable maybe with that way out. Again, you have to weigh out the option. How motivated if you accept that money, how motivated will you be in the morning to wake up knowing that you will be going to that job that is giving you probably half even of what you deserve? So those are the questions to ask yourself. But the first three that I've mentioned, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, you could go to other sites that provide the same. You could also just call in to that company, say, I would like to speak to so-and-so. Then I believe such information, even though just ask them to give you a range. I hope I've answered you, Rita.
Yes, you have. Thank you.
All right.
I see we have another question from Barrett. Barrett, the floor is yours.
Thank you, James. Good evening, Nora. So I have a question regarding not career, but business related. So
Yes.
Usually when you're talking to maybe suppliers or customers, and of course, the purpose of having a negotiation is to win the deal per se. So I read somewhere that it's either during a negotiation, you're the loser or the opposite side is the loser. So during negotiations, what challenges usually I have seen personally is where customers would haggle you for a price reduction. So what are some of the tactics or strategies you can advise to avoid being haggled and have a good, decent negotiation over something? Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. So in this case, you are you're the supplier, if I understood you well.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. First things first, I think you need to make your customers know that what you're selling is quality, because you have to build their belief in your product. Because at the end of the day, if you go to Isili, you'll buy maybe jeans worth 1,000 bob, one jeans maybe for 1,000 bob. But you go to Woolworths, you go to Avila's, the same jeans, you're going to buy it for 3,500. It's all about the brand. Make your customers believe in your brand. And number one, you can do that via social media, which is the quickest way of reaching customers. Make them know about your online presence. Make them believe that your brand is genuine, because nowadays with a lot of fake merchandise going around, customers tend to shy away from certain businesses. Also assure them that that they're getting their worth. I mean, they're getting value for their money. Because if at all, maybe let's say you're offering me a service that I know won't be at the long run. Let me just give you an example of we ladies. We go to a nail parlor for gel application for the nails, and we've identified the brands that we like, because if at all maybe they're going to apply it on my nails and then it only lasts a week, I mean, who wants that? So we've make them have that belief in your brand, make them provide that kind of assurance. Also make sure that the reviews that you get, the reviews you get are positive. Always make sure that you even if you have a negative review, let's say when you log into your Facebook, Insta, things like that, always address the negative ratings also.
Thank you so much, Nora.
Thank you so much, Nora, too. At this point, I'll call Sylvia to give a vote of thanks as we prepare for the next section. Sylvia?
Thank you, Supeo. On behalf of the Rotaract Club of Nairobi Central, Nora Mungai, we want to say thank you. Thank you for taking us through this training on negotiation, taking us through, making us understand the whole process of negotiating, from the principles to the types of negotiations, the reason why we negotiate, the 4 steps of a successful negotiation, and the 3 questions to ask. I'm sure we've learned a lot. Some of us need to change our negotiation tactics and skills. Some of us need to add a few things here and there. And definitely we've learned that negotiation is not just an opportunity to get a deal, but the goal is to get a good deal. Once again, thank you very much. And we are glad you honored our invite to train us on this topic today. Thank you. Back to you, Supeo.
Thank you so much, Sylvia, for sharing the vote of thanks for our guests for today. Yeah, some had up for her. All right, and then we'll move on to our announcements for today. And first of all, from our club, our next meeting will be on 22nd February 2022 from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. via Zoom. And then I have one other announcement, and this pertains to all the participants except the guest speaker. So please fill in the link that I've shared on the chat. I see we have an attendance of about 31. However, very few of us have filled that form. So that form and the information you share with us is to help us engage with you better. So please do fill that form, as even we will use it in making our roll call at the end of the meeting. And then I invite any visiting Rotaractor and Rotarian who has an announcement. You can share your announcement with us. Perpetual, yes, go ahead. Perpetual.
Hi, Supeo, sorry, it was a mistake.
Oh, sawa. No worries, but unaweza salimia watu. You were not there during the introductions. Salimia tuambie what you do for a living.
I live. Hi everyone. My name is Perpetual Mashua, member of the club, and I'm happy to join the session today. Thank you, guests. That was informative. Yes. Good night, everyone.
You're most welcome. Anyone with an announcement they would love to pass to the members and guests? All right, I see we have no other announcement. We'll move on to the Sergeant at Arms session. And this session, we usually share what we are happy about or what we feel sad about, or also any other updates that we might want to share with the members of the club. And also, if people misbehave, they will be fined. And all these monies are collected and they go to support our community service project, which is known as Elimu Magerezani, where we support the education needs for children in juvenile institutions. As you remember, when we, at the start, community service is one of the goals of Rotaract. So this is part of what goes into that kitty for supporting those projects. So if you're happy, feel free, or sad. Today we will not find anyone, guys who are well behaved. So looking forward to people to share what made them happy or what made them sad. And well, this is a safe space. Let's go. Anyone who is happy or sad, the floor is open. You can unmute. You can also type in the chat box. Yes, Rita?
Hi, Supeo. I have two happies. The first one is for Nora Mungai. Thank you for honoring our invitation and giving us an amazing talk. The other one is for everyone who managed to join us for today's meeting. We are very thankful. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rita. I see Amy in the chat box. She says that she's happy to attend the fellowship after a very long time, and the talk was great. Thank you so much, Emily. You're most welcome, and we look forward to engaging with you further. Anyone else?
Hi, Supesh.
Hi.
Yeah, I have two happy dollars as well. One for Nora. Thank you so much. This was a very good session. I really enjoyed it. And the second happy dollar goes to a couple of people I've seen that have joined the meeting, a couple of friends that have joined the meeting. I really, really hope that they got something from it. Happy that they joined. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Lois. Anyone else? Going once, going twice. And that brings us to the end of the SAA session. And now, please, one more thing, please remember to fill that attendance form. It helps the club so much in understanding the needs of our members and guests. We move on to the last section where this is the closing section of the meeting, and we ask you to engage with us by following us on social media. You can also reshare our posts on your feed and stories. You can invite your friends to attend our meetings. You can also help us increase our impact by becoming a guest, join a committee, and attend our meetings and events. So an event or like a meeting like this one has a committee that organizes on the back end. So you'll be able to learn more about Rotaract, and you'll be able to grow your professional and leadership skills, which is the first goal of Rotaract, by joining a committee, attending our meetings, and even becoming a member. And at this point, I'd like to go to the roll call. So today we have an attendance of 25 participants. So in conjunction with members of the Rotaract Club of Langata, Rotaract Club of Young Professionals in Tanzania, and Rotaract Club of Nairobi Central, I give you Rotary and Rotaract the world over. To Rotary and Rotaract the world over. This brings us to the end of our meeting. Thank you so much for attending, and we look forward to seeing you on 22nd February and also in the committee meetings happening before the main fellowship meeting on 22nd. Have a wonderful night. Bye.